What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Double B here, back with another video. Before we get started, as always, appreciate it if you guys can like, comment, and subscribe to this video. This is going to be picks for NFL Week 13 picks for this Sunday, which is going to be for tomorrow. So in the comments, you can just comment the number. Do the number 3. I don't want to do 13 because I'm unlucky. So you can just comment the number 3. That's fine. But yeah, before we get started with the picks for NFL, we're just gonna do a quick recap of last video's picks from the NBA. It was a pretty solid day. We went 5-3, and we also did hit the second step of this Josh Green ladder. He hit his 2 threes at -115 and his 3+3s at +230. So that was a good hit there. Next play here, Donovan Mitchell, 4+3s. Yeah, he shot, I believe, 2 for 12 from 3. It was something disgusting. He was like 5 for 23 from the field. So, yeah, disgusting there. The volume was there, just could not hit a shot. Cade Cunningham over 21.5 points. That cashed. Jimmy Butler over 18.5 points. That cashed as well. Jakob Poeltl, this one hurt. He got hooked. He finished with 10. He got off just to a slow start. He only had 1 rebound in the first quarter. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, but then he also got fouled with, I think, like 40 seconds left. Fouled out with about like 40 seconds left. So, you know, it sucked, but yeah, it happens. Dalton Connett cashed a sweat free. I think he had like 6 threes. Yeah, dude's a bucket. Jalen Williams over 21.5 points. He missed by a couple points. It was just a low-scoring game in general. So that one kind of sucked. But we did make up for it with Isaiah Hartenstein. Over 3.5 assists. He did finish with 5. So it was a good read on my end there. I like that play. But yeah, those are the plays from NBA. So now we'll pivot over to the NFL, which I have right now 6 player props. And most likely we'll have more picks. Those will be added in the pinned comments down below and on my Twitter at @BB_picks. That link will be in the description of this video. So the first pick here that we have is Marvin Harris over 3.5 receptions. So the Vikings allowed the second most receptions to receivers. Marvin Harris has had at least 5 targets in the last 5 games. So I think Marvin Harris can definitely, I think he can have a big game. Because Minnesota also, I believe, they allow maybe the second or third most receiving yards. It's definitely top 5, whatever there are in terms of receiving yards as well. So I just pivoted towards his receptions. I just felt like they were, a line short. I think they should be probably priced at 4.5. So I think 4 receptions is very doable. I mean, it's one a quarter. The Vikings, they allow the second most receptions, as I said, and this game, I think he can break out, and Minnesota is elite against the run. So if the Cardinals are going to want to win this game, they're going to have to do it through the air. I don't see James Conner. He might have a decent game receiving wise, but you can't run on Minnesota, which is why they're bad against the pass. So I like Marvin Harris to get some volume today. Or tomorrow, I should say, against the Vikings. Next play here is going to be Joe Mixon, over 80.5 rush yards. So, Joe Mixon, they played the Tennessee Titans last week. I think he had like 40 yards. He had a bad game. They're going, again, another elite rush defense they played against. You can't run on them. So, I'm loving a bounce-back game for Mixon. Mixon's rush attempt line, last time I checked, it was 20.5. It's probably moved up to 21.5 because it was heavily juiced to the over. And the Jags rank bottom 10 in rush yards allowed to running backs. So with Mixon getting that much volume, I love for him to get 81 yards. I mean, I can see him getting 100 yards, honestly, this week. This is one of those games. I mean, he's had multiple 100-yard games. He has multiple games with 20-plus rush attempts. So, Houston Texans, they've been surprisingly a run-heavy offense. I mean, yeah, I know, with injuries with receivers, Nico Collins is back, but even when Nico Collins was there, Joe Mixon was still getting fed quite a ton, and he's been very productive this year. He's been one of the sneaky pickups You know, I don't know where Houston would be at without Mixon, because their pass game has not been good. So I think they're going to lean on him a lot. I think they should. I don't 100% sure remember what the spread was in this game, but I know Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be coming back, so the game might be somewhat competitive. It is in Jacksonville, but even if it is, like I said, I still like Mixon. Whether it's, you know, Houston, you know, I don't think Houston will get blown out. I think they will. It's blow-up potential. I believe Houston could blow them out because Jacksonville's clearly given up. But either way, I really like Mixon in this game. Next play up is going to be Tony Pollard over 66.5 rush yards. So another great matchup for another running back. So he is he plays the Commanders. And they have been getting killed on the ground all year. They allow the second most rush yards to running backs. Pollard has been averaging 72.7 yards on the season per game. And, you know, Pollard is it's not a running back by committee. He is the clear number one back. I know they use Spears, but they use Spears more in the pass game. It doesn't really eat into Pollard's production at all. And I think the Titans, you know, we're going to lean on him. You know, if they want to win this game, that's what they really have to do. You know, Pollard's been great. Another guy that has a couple 100-yard plus games, so I wouldn't be surprised if he went for 100 yards either. But yeah, I think 66.5 is just too low in Pollard's spot. I mean, we've seen, you know, Rico Dowdle had 80-something yards, or, you know, he had a great. I mean, every running back you see they've been gashing Washington all year. So really like the spot here for Tony Pollard. Another running back. I have quite a few running back rushing props. I am big on running backs this week. Bucky Irving over 54.5 rush yards. So I believe he's going to have a great game. Again, it's going against Carolina. So yes, this is the the only other defense that allows them more yards than Washington, than Washington is Carolina. So I know this is more of a running back committee. Irving and White, they split carries. Sean Tucker gets a few carries here and there. He's more of it seemed like they're using him more in the goal line. But Bucky Irving is by far the best running back they have on this team. Even with splitting carries last 2 games, he had 73 rush yards and 88 rush yards. And I expect the success to continue against, like I said, the worst rush defense in the league. Probably the worst defense in the league in general is the Carolina Panthers, so I don't see why he should take a huge hit. I mean, if he just had 73 and 88, I don't see he can't get at least 55 yards. I mean, I don't really see how he, you know, again, he could get this in one play, let's be honest. So, again, really love that spot there for Bucky Irving. Alvin Kamara over 65.5 rush yards, so yes, a good running back with, you know, mid-ish line against a bad rush defense. So I'm going to be all over this again. So the Rams allowed the 4th most rush yards to running backs. Alvin Kamara is over this line in his last 3 of 4 games. And in those 3 games he went over his prop, he had 29, 17, and 16 rush attempts. In his and his rush attempt props is set at 15.5. So if Alvin Kamara gets, you know, around 15 to, you know, 17, 16 carries, that's plenty of volume for him to get to 65.5 rush yards. So, yeah, like I said, it's a very doable number. I mean, it's, you know, like I said, it's 1 yard less than Tony Pollard. And, again, another great matchup. So, and a running back that has been getting tons of volume as of late. And yeah, again, another guy that he's pretty much the main running back. I mean, I know they used Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams is back, but Kamara is the head of the running back game. So I'm not really worried about him, you know, getting carries taken from him or anything like that. Now, my last play here is going to be in the same game, but it's going to be a receiver, and it's going to be on the Rams, and it's going to be Cooper Kupp over 64.5 receiving yards. So the Saints allow the 5th most receiving yards to receivers this year, and Cooper Kupp has a 27 and 21% target share versus cover 1 and cover 2, which is where the coverages the Saints run the most. It's like over 50% of the time their defense is either in cover 1 or cover 2. So Kupp is over this number in his last 3 or 4 games, and in those 3 games, he's had 14, 10, and 11 targets. So, and I think even the game he didn't go over, he still had like 7, 8 targets. I mean, it's him and Puka, and then it's everybody else, you know, in the pass game. So I really like, you know, Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua, you can't go wrong with him either. His line was, I think, at like 78, 79 and a half. So for like 15 yards less, I'd rather just go with Cooper Kupp. And like I said, he has a better target share in these coverage than Puka does. So, and he actually performs way better on the road than Puka too. I think Puka's actually only over his line in like 1 or 2 games this year on the road, and Cooper Kupp is like over this line like 4 of 6 games on the road. So that's something to keep an eye on, definitely too. I mean, listen, they both usually have good games, but definitely keep an eye on when Puka is at home compared to him and his road splits, vice versa with Cooper Kupp. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But I mean, that was just you know, part of it. The main reasons why I went with Cooper Kupp over Puka was just because of the 15-yard discount you're getting, and his target share versus these 2 coverages. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my 6 picks for NFL Week 13. Like I said, you can just comment the number 3. Don't want to have bad luck out there. So yeah, most likely I will have you know, added picks. I just wanted to get this video out a little earlier this week. So yeah, without that further ado, like I said, just make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comments. And, you know, if you don't follow me on Twitter, definitely give me a follow on Twitter. The link will be in the description down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Wish you guys the best luck with your bets. Peace.